What if you're being robbed and you don't even notice? Not hundreds, not thousands, but just $27, maybe $93. Every single day. No broken windows, no missing wallets. Just silent digital fingerprints you never saw coming. This is the real story of how modern hackers found a way to steal from millions without ever tripping an alarm. And by the time you finish this video, you might realize they're already stealing from you too. It started with something no one noticed. A few cents here, a couple dollars there, nothing unusual. In fact, the amounts were so small they flew under every radar, including the banks. But that's exactly what made it brilliant. Somewhere, in a quiet apartment in Austin, Texas, a freelance developer named Kevin Lewis was sipping his morning coffee when he noticed something odd. His Venmo account had a $27 transaction labeled micro-purchase data stream. He didn't remember approving it, but assumed it was one of the many small subscriptions he barely tracked anymore. Spotify, Google Drive, maybe even some AI tool he tried for a week. The next day it happened again. $32, then $41. Slightly different labels, different times. Each transaction just small enough to avoid fraud alerts, but frequent enough to raise an itch in the back of his mind. Kevin wasn't your average victim. He had a background in cybersecurity, not a professional hacker, but someone who knew how to read code and sniff out patterns. He started digging. And what he found was terrifying. These weren't charges from legit services. They were synthetic payments routed through dummy companies, LLCs, that didn't actually exist, but had merchant IDs approved through payment processors with loose verification standards. The same structure repeated itself again and again. A shell website, a fake privacy policy, a billing portal that didn't work, and a customer support email that led nowhere. Kevin had stumbled onto something massive, but he was just one of tens of thousands. You see, this scam wasn't designed to get rich quickly. It was designed to get rich quietly. Hackers, some working alone. Others in decentralized digital rings were exploiting the microtransaction. Blind spot. Most people don't monitor every $15 charge on their card. Banks often allow low-value transactions to go through without triggering suspicion. Some processors don't even require multi-layered verification for vendors handling small purchases. Now imagine this. If a hacker skims $27 from 50,000 people in one day, that's $1.35 million with almost zero risk. No ransomware, no phishing, no dark web, just quiet theft, made invisible by volume and repetition, and they weren't targeting the rich. They were targeting you. Middle-class workers, college students, retirees, people who wouldn't flinch at a minor charge. That's what made them perfect victims. By the time Kevin reported what he found to federal authorities, the group tied to his charges had already gone dark. Their domains were offline, their shell LLCs dissolved, their digital fingerprints wiped. But the transactions didn't stop. New patterns emerged. New names. Same behavior. For every scam that was shut down, two more took its place, smarter, faster, harder to trace. Kevin realized he hadn't just uncovered a scam, he had discovered a system. A digital parasite feeding off our apathy and trust. In the digital age, attention is currency. Every app, every notification, every ping is designed to hijack your focus. And while the world chases trends, the hackers thrive in the background unnoticed. The genius behind this scheme wasn't just in the code. It was in understanding one simple truth. No one is paying attention. We live in a constant storm of digital noise. Crypto booms, NFT drops, AI launches, trading signals, Discord groups, side hustles. It's a whirlwind. Everyone is chasing the next big thing. Financial freedom is marketed like fast food, cheap, instant, and addictively dangerous. And scammers, they don't just hide in the chaos. They amplify it. Take BuzzPay, a fake fintech startup that trended briefly on TikTok. They promise cashback rewards for using their AI-powered payment streamlining service. Dozens of influencers with paid partnerships posted flashy videos, sleek interfaces, fake testimonials, and edited screenshots of payouts. In reality, BuzzPay was a shell. Behind its polished branding was a script, one that auto-enrolled users in phantom transactions. It wasn't even a real app. It was a dynamic website front, cloned from open-source templates. It's designed to look trustworthy enough to fool people for 3 days, just long enough to run tens of thousands of transactions before vanishing. And guess what? It worked. Why? Because people aren't verifying. They're scrolling, clicking, skimming. Trusting influencer says it's legit. Swipe up. Crypto forum mentions it. Let's try. It's only $19, who cares? And that's the trap, the low barrier. Makes you let your guard down. You're not sending $10,000 to a prince in Nigeria. You're signing up for a sleek app that looks just like dozens of others, and they only ask for a card and an email. You've done that 100 times before. Once. You're in. They don't need to convince you again. The script takes over. And while you're debating which memecoin will 10x, they're siphoning $31.77 from your checking account, masked under tech services or premium tools pro. But there's another layer, the social pressure not to ask questions and online. Circles, especially among young adults trying to escape the 9-to-5 grind. There's a silent competition. Who's building multiple streams of income? Who's early to the next trend? Who's in on the secret that will make them rich? Skepticism is frowned upon. If you ask too many questions, you're labeled negative or close-minded. This creates a perfect breeding ground for scammers because people stop thinking critically. The fear of missing out becomes greater than the fear of being wrong, and in that emotional vulnerability, hackers don't need to push hard. They just need to blend in, to look like the next BuzzPay, the next passive income stream, Alexa AI-powered payment tool. By the time the hype fades, they're gone. And you're left wondering why your checking balance keeps coming up short? At first, it just looked like a budgeting mistake. Landon stared at his bank statement, confused by the small withdrawal. 42.09 tech solutions monthly. He didn't remember subscribing. But maybe it was one of those AI tools he'd signed. Up for in a rush, he let it slide. Then it happened again. And again, different amounts, different names, none big enough to trigger panic. But something didn't feel right. Each charge was like a whisper in the dark, barely audible, but persistent. That's how it starts. Small confusion that builds into quiet. Paranoia. Landon began to second-guess himself. Was he losing track of his own spending? Had he become careless with subscriptions? Maybe it was his fault. The stress wasn't just financial, it was internal, emotional. A growing sense that he was no longer in control of his own money. This is what most people don't talk about. When we imagine financial scams, we think of someone being robbed in one big moment. But this wasn't a heist, it was erosion each. Silent charge chipped away not just at Landon's checking account, but at his confidence. He stopped trusting online tools. He stopped checking his bank app, even ignored alerts, convincing himself it was just another budgeting app or crypto. Tax platform he must have forgotten about. He felt embarrassed, not because he'd been scammed, but because he couldn't prove it. Every time he told someone, they shrugged. It's probably legit. You've probably signed up for something. It's just a few bucks. But it wasn't about the money anymore. It was about the mental exhaustion of being gaslit by the system over and over. This kind of fraud is specifically engineered to avoid confrontation. There's no panic moment, no, oh no, my card's been stolen. Instead, there's an uneasy gray zone. The doubt eats at you. You don't cancel the card. You don't call the bank. Because what if it's real? What if you just forgot? And so the bleeding continues. Landon found himself checking his statements obsessively. Not to stop the charges, but to find validation. Proof that he wasn't crazy. But all he got was another vague charge from Paytech AI or Monthly Insight Suite. Generic names, no website, no phone number, no cancellation link. He started to withdraw from conversations about money. Stopped participating in Discord groups. Stopped talking about side hustles or investing. Because what do you say when you've been robbed in slow motion? This type of attack leaves no mess, but it leaves a mark. It's death by 1,000 microcuts. And each tiny wound tells you the same lie. You're not being robbed. You're just forgetful. But Landon wasn't forgetful. He was targeted. And the most painful realization came months later, when he discovered the total damage: $2,314.67. Gone over 7 months. It's through dozens of aliases. That's a used car, 2 months' rent. It's half a year's groceries. Gone in a way no one warned him about. And the worst part? It didn't feel like theft. It felt like shame. Long before the first dollar disappeared from Landon's account, the seeds had already been planted. Not in his bank, not in his devices, but in his mind. It started with YouTube thumbnails. Earn $87 a day with this AI tool. Passive income hack using just your phone. It's only 3 spots left. Don't miss out. He didn't click them right away, but they showed up everywhere. On TikTok, on Discord, on Twitter threads with emojis and bullet points. Best Side Hustles 2024. Top AI tools to automate your life. Everyone seemed to be winning. Everyone was in early. Everyone had a dashboard with some cool interface that showed money pouring in. And here's the dangerous truth. Landon wasn't lazy. He was ambitious. He wasn't scammed because he wanted something for nothing. He was scammed because he believed there was a smarter way. That's the genius behind modern fraud. It doesn't appeal to greed. It appeals to hope. The tools he downloaded didn't look sketchy. They had polished branding, testimonials, trust badges, affiliates, influencers showing their earnings in real time. And most importantly, they were endorsed by people he followed and admired. Not big celebrities, people just like him. Digital designer who escaped the 9-to-5 thanks to this AI income stack. A crypto investor who let automation work while I slept. A productivity coach with 3 income streams, all on autopilot. They didn't know the tools they were promoting were fake, or at least shady. They were just part of the chain. Most of them were affiliates, earning commissions without ever trying the product. The platforms didn't ask for much. Just a credit card for verification, small monthly fee for the premium automation feature. Just $19 here, $47 there. And when it stopped working, there was always another shiny link, another next-gen tool in beta, another FOMO video from someone who got in early. Landon's Discord was full of it. People weren't just sharing tools, they were competing. Who could build the best passive income stack? Who had the cleanest dashboard? Every day brought a new thread. This tool made me $143 while I was at the gym. And when someone asked anyone else seeing weird charges on their bank account, silence. Or worse, blame, bro. You probably clicked on some phishing link. Just be smarter with your stacks. Cancel the tool and move on. There was no accountability, no refunds, no support. It's just hype, hashtags, and hidden traps. These weren't hackers breaking into systems. These were systems built to break. You slowly, and the community unknowingly handed them the tools. Because once everyone's chasing freedom, no one questions the price.